Yeah, it was just fantastic.
Good.
Ate lots. And I eventually joined pictures, but I went to what's called art.
Oh, okay.
Painting record, local painting magic.
Yeah. Great. Oh my god, amazing.
So I had a really good time. Ate lots.
Yeah, I imagine.
I just it's
How long are we down?
well, I was when my mom moved us when I was young, so I moved most of the time, and then I was back down there about 9 years.
Oh, 9, okay.
Yeah, so
Crazy. Good night.
So I'm gonna go back to Boston. It feels like too long. I think I'm just like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's happening, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing you guys. Well, I see at work.
I'm actually going to see her on Friday, so
For sure.
that's
We'll
good.
be texting each other at work.
Back and forth.
Okay.
Okay, Chris, thank you.
We'll have our little
Whereas
girl.
I'll just go
No, for sure.
Thank you.
No, I've been coming like straight, and it's like the group's growing. Just it's Mahamudra. So we just started last week, and John was saying like he's gonna, it doesn't matter like when you
What
like
stage,
keep on reviewing the same thing. So it's good. It's a good group.
Was it busy?
I was here and I heard Leonardo. Then I heard the male voice, but I don't know who was it. Okay, so I was thinking, is it
About 2 weeks,
like,
but
I didn't know this
yeah,
year.
Yeah. Because
There's
still
someone
a lot
new
of time
there.
to take away.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah.
You wrote this?
Yep. For January and February, so it gets better.
Oh.
No, I didn't know she. Were you guys sitting here?
No, I'm going to sit back
Oh,
there.
okay. I can just move over so she's not so squished. Just, so I may want to stretch out later, like a second.
I know my back hurts, so I want to
Oh, you want against the wall? Yeah, there's supply here. If you need it.
Somebody coming in?
It's okay. I don't bite.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So welcome to class 2 of this 10 class meditation, the next level. Some new faces. Hello, hello, hello. So, because we have some new faces, what we're going to do is we're going to go around and everyone's going to say their name. And because Father's Day is coming up, just think of one word, if you can. Maybe you need two, but hopefully one. Maybe not. Who knows? But the greatest gift that your father gave you. I'll wait a few minutes, or not a few minutes, a few seconds. So yeah, your name and the greatest gift your father gave you. And I'll start. Hi, my name's John. The greatest gift my father gave me, I would have to say, is humor. For sure. Yeah. So let's start with what's your name?
Hi, I'm Mariska, and the greatest gift my dad gave me, calmness. Say.
This was hard. I'm Virginie. I didn't really know my dad, so I'm just thinking of my other father figure, but it's really hard, but I guess I would say that's a hard one. I wanted to skip me.
We can come back.
Okay, yeah. Thanks.
I'm Joyce, and the greatest gift my father gave me was a sense of wonder.
Wait, what? A sense of wonder. I heard suds of wonder.
Suds of wonder.
I'm Mishi, and the greatest gift my dad ever gave me was teaching without teaching.
3 words.
Yeah.
Two. One repeated.
He's technical over here. Sure.
Okay, my name is Tibor. Hi, and the greatest gift my father gave me, I think it's confidence.
I'm Sevi, and I think the greatest gift my father has left me is service.
Service.
I'm Mark. I think the greatest gift my dad gave me was laughter.
Laughter.
Yes.
Christine, greatest gift, humor.
Hi, my name is Fabrice, and the greatest gift my father gave me is survival skills.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Hi, my name is Marge, and the greatest gift my dad gave to me would be storytelling.
Hi, my name is Camille. My dad gave me tolerance.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and my dad taught me that love is undying. Never dies, yes.
Hi, my name is Cherie. I never had a father nor a father figure. So the greatest gift my father gave me was life.
Life. Nice. Well, that's a very important gift, isn't it?
My name is Megan, and father got me really generosity.
Pardon? I didn't quite hear that. Generosity. Nice.
My name is Donovan, and my father gave me kindness.
Kindness.
My name is Miranda, and my father gave me unconditional everything.
Unconditional everything? Wow.
Wow.
My name's Dave. I didn't have a dad, but as a dad, I would give my son or daughter patience.
All right then.
I think
You still
mine
gotta
is
go.
like, I think mine is kind of like bravery, like
Bravery?
in the sense of
Yeah, nice.
To take risks.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah.
That was time well spent.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was like that was officially not wasted. Those last 10 minutes were like not wasted.
Mhm.
Yeah. We waste a lot of our time. Yeah. And that's what this class is going to be about a lot. Yeah, any amount of time that you you sit down and think about the good qualities of other people, it's very healthy for your mind. Very healthy for your mind. Any time that you sit around and think about bad qualities that you can think of about other people, it's very unhealthy for your mind. Very unhealthy. There's not, and we all know it's true. We all know that's true. Some of us are addicted to it. I know I have been addicted to that, and I've been around people that have been addicted to that, and sometimes you get a bunch of addicts together, and it's really crazy. But yeah. Because this class was taught. This is basically a meditation class, and it's inspired by these classes. They're called Bok Jimpa, which is called setting your meditation practice on fire. And a lot of the ideas assume that you've kind of had kind of a broad foundational teaching on some of the ideas that I'll be saying, but that doesn't matter because a lot of it's just common sense, really. There's a word that gets tossed around in Buddhism. It's called samsara. And samsara really just means like the cycle, like a cycle of life, or a cyclic way of living. Meaning to like churn around and around, you know, like throwing yourself in the washing machine and just like keep spinning around and around. And when they say keep spinning around and around, they're talking about lifetime to lifetime, reliving the same old patterns again and again and again, right? And we all know that at some part of our mind, or you wouldn't be here, right? There's some part of your mind understands that there's something has gone awry. Things aren't quite adding up in life, and the things that we have been trying to achieve are not helping us. And if they do help us, they only help us for short periods of time. And the things that we strive to attain, as far as jobs and position and stuff, and we spend a lot of time doing that. We spend a lot of time accumulating stuff, names, compliments, right? It doesn't really add up to anything at the end of the day. And what at the bottom of that all is this motivation that we have. So this, and because that the things that we do directly influence how we live how we experience our life. So the way that we think about other people, the way that we think about ourselves, how we behave around other people, how much we care about other people or not, directly influences our mind stream and creates, you could say, habitual habitual patterns to keep doing the same thing over and over again, and then that causes like this feedback loop where you end up seeing what you're doing, right? You end up seeing what you did, like an echo in a canyon or something. Like you put out, I hate you, and then later it's I hate you, 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 right? It comes back, but it takes a bit of time, right? And it comes back and and there's this gap in the time, and our mind's like that. Life's a mirror. But if you're yelling out, "I love you, you're so wonderful, keep being amazing, I love you," like it goes out there, and then bounces back, and then you're like, I love you. You hear it everywhere. I love you. You're so awesome. I love you. Right? That's a very in the nutshell version of kind of how the mind just simply operates. It doesn't have like opinions, and so like the state of mind that we're trying to see through this course is extremely, freakily neutral, right? It doesn't have opinions about what you do. It just processes the information and gives it back to you, right? And that's like you could say like your larger, clear mind, you would say, or capital M mind. And then the small mind is like the things that maybe you can think of as your consciousness, or the little John beetle that's running around trying to make everything work, right? Where there's a bigger John mind that you can access. You can have that as your center, as your pivotal point. And in order to get that, we need to sit down, practice, do meditation, so that we can access that place, or else we're always running around trying to make tiny things work out each day, and at the end we're just left with nothing, just a bunch of broken stuff that never worked out. And it's all spurred by motivation. What motivates you in any moment. And so that cyclic of life, like samsara has been motivated. It's been motivated by your mind. And whatever you have done in your life in the past has motivated that cycle. But we're here to try and put a different motivation behind everything that we do, so that we can take our quote-unquote normal way that we live to a very divine way of living. And not in a way that's like frou-frou and like, oh, I see angels everywhere and aren't we all angelic, and like, I mean like for reals. Yeah, like not running from life, but actually turning the perception of what you see into a very beautiful experience every single day. And it's totally possible. And the only way that's going to work is if we can do that in a way where that sort of paradise world, or that happiness that you live your life with, that love that you give, the love that you see, is entirely unrelated to whatever's happening in your life. Because we go through all kinds of crazy stuff in our life. We don't know what's going to happen. Some of us in this room are like, we're trying to figure out dad. Well, I never had a dad, there's lots of us that have had amazing parents and just turned out like really bad. And there's lots of us who've had like really, been abandoned by our parents and turned out really good, and it's good to think about what has gotten us to where we are. If you're sitting around thinking about how to become a better person and thinking about how to be a better lover, well then somewhere along the line someone did you some good. Somewhere along the line something turned in a beautiful way. So we'll talk more about motivation after the first meditation. So I'll just say, for the new people, this is a step up from the last meditation, but not so much, a small step. And it may be tricky to get your mind around kind of how to be like the watcher in the meditation, but don't worry about it. Just do your best. And let's do our first meditation, and then we'll do a little more talking, and then we'll meditate again. Has anyone in the room never meditated before? Bunch of hotshots. Awesome. So, if you're laying down, try and lay as straight as you can so that you have a sense of a straight line from your tailbone up through your crown without being tense about it. And if you're sitting, it's nice to be sitting in a way that you don't need to be have strain. So, are you good like that? Are you comfortable? Because so. Maybe we can get you some bolsters or something so that you don't have to hold your legs up. Yeah, that's good. So that you don't have to feel like you're holding on.
Until I try it for like 10 minutes. I feel higher. Yeah.
If not,
I'll try it for the first one. Thank you.
When I first started meditating, I couldn't sit cross-legged to save my life. So
it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I meditated for years in a chair, sitting upright in a chair, and then it was pretty exciting for me when I could finally sit down. Yeah, and I prefer it. I like the chairs. I like the chair, but I prefer being on the ground.
Why didn't you start just sitting? Like, why did you start in a chair?
It was too painful for me. I couldn't. I couldn't meditate. All I could think about was my sore legs, and they got. And because I couldn't sit, then all of my effort went into trying to sit straight. I couldn't find us, So as we go through these classes, I'll be ringing the bell at the beginning and at the end of each meditation. Ringing the bowl, I should say. And it's nice to get one of these kinds of bowls or something that you can ring in the beginning of your practice at home, because it has a way after a while, you get so used to doing that the sound of it will immediately calm you down. And you can listen to the sound of the bowl and follow the sound to the end, into the silence, and then I'll talk a little bit about posture. So begin to feel your lower body very relaxed. It's melting into the earth. And as you're possibly experiencing this downward moving energy from the waist down, take a nice deep inhale and use that inhale to draw your crown towards the sky. And then keep that drawing up with the crown as you then exhale and relax the shoulders. Think of your heart slightly lifting up, sort of lifted and open. Relax your jaw. You can get assistance by placing the tip of your tongue just where the back of your top teeth meet your gums. You can gently place your tongue there, and that will help your jaw relax. Turn the corners of your mouth slightly up so that you have a slight smile. We always want to have a slight smile, at least on the inside, because when we just don't want to take ourselves too seriously. We've been doing that for way too many lifetimes. It's really time to stop doing that. And a little smile helps, goes a long way. You can have your eyes gently closed, or you can have your eyes very, very slightly open. You can think of just letting some light in, and you're not focusing on anything, you're not gazing at anything. You may want to try both and see which one suits you. If you're very drowsy, it can be good to open up the eyes a little bit. It will help brighten up your mind. Hands should be nice and relaxed, placed wherever that they can be, where you don't need to think about your hands. Now focus on your belly as the breath expands your belly, and as you exhale, the belly contracts. So don't control your breath. Simply enjoy your breath. Feel the sensation of your body breathing. This is a very nice way to bring your mind into the present moment. Your body and your breath, they don't really have a choice in the matter. They have to be in the present moment. It's only our minds that jump around to the past and the future and just can't sit still. So use your body and use your breath to anchor yourself in. And you will be more present if you can let go of trying to be the controller of your breath. Just observe it. Now let's draw the mind's focus up into a more subtle object. So drawing your attention from your belly up, focusing at the tips of your nostrils. And now watching the breath, this time the actual breath passing the points of the nostrils. If you've been meditating for a while and you have reached some form of stability in your focus, you may find it easy to simply watch the breath here and you don't need to count. Or you may just be having a distracted kind of day. If your mind keeps jumping away from the breath at the nostrils, then assist yourself by counting. So you would count it like at the end of your exhale, you would think 1. And then you let your inhale begin and keep watching your in-breath. And keep watching your exhale. And then at the end of the next exhale, you would think to yourself, 2. And if you manage to actually stay focused and reach the number 10, start at 1 again. Some of you will drift off and forget you're even meditating, maybe. This happens, and it's part of the process of training your mind. So, really important is not to get down on yourself. One of the most difficult things that there is to do in the world is to bring your mind into a calm, abiding state and have it there permanently. If you're just beginning that, it's going to fight you. You know, there's many other more interesting things than your breath. So, if you start to lose count, or you're drifting away into other stuff, you're earlier in the day or later in the night or something, just, the trick is to gently bring yourself back to the breath. So start at 0 again, but without thinking that you failed. Very important. In fact, it's not a failure, it's a success. Because you managed to recall, you managed to have some recollection. And every single time that you drift off the object, and you will drift off the object many, many times before you reach perfect meditation. So you might as well start being easy on yourself now. You notice you drifted off, you gently bring yourself back to the breath, and you celebrate, you rejoice that you managed to come back and that you managed to pull yourself back, because each time that you do that, that is one more time that you've trained your mind. It's like training a puppy to pee in the newspaper. You know, one day they figure it out. But it doesn't work to get mad at your dog. You just gently bring yourself back to the breath. Start again. So I'll be quiet now for a bit. Stay with the breath. Count if you need to, and if you don't need to count, just watch the breath. So we watch the breath, but we are not the breath. We are someone sitting back watching. The breath moves of its own accord, and we simply observe it. So now we shift again, this time listening to the sounds that we hear. So you're shifting off from the breath and beginning to listen to the sounds that you hear, inside or outside of the room. You're not creating the sounds, you're just listening to the sounds. So for some of you this will be a new idea. But last class we talked about being the watcher. So there is somebody listening to the sounds. Our goal here is to slip back and watch the watcher, watch the listener, listening to the sounds. It can be very helpful to think of there's a listener listening to the sounds, and as if maybe they're driving the car in a sense. They're navigating, they're collecting the sounds. And then there's someone, you step back or sit back in the car, say, and you're in the back seat. And you are watching the listener listen to the sounds. You can take your mind to the sounds. You can hear something outside and think, those are cars. And the mind goes outside. Or you can do the same thing as with the breath. But instead of watching your breath at the tip of your nose, you're placing your mind at the tip of your ear, and you just let the sounds come in. And what you're moving towards doing is simply letting the sounds come in and not putting a story on them. Try not to follow the need to identify it or chase after it. So you have that one element of yourself, just hearing, just noticing sound. And then the other element of yourself who's back in the chair watching watching this listener. It is like listening to the music of time passing. You're hearing a song for the first time, all the time. I'm going to ring the bowl. Just listen to the sound of the bowl and allow it to bring yourself back into the room. Coming back and opening your eyes. Gently, you want to come back gently after the sound is done. Hot in here. It can be harder to stay focused when it's hot. It's easy to get sleepy, right? So I think I'll open the windows for a second. Just let some cold air just come in. So that may have been a stretch for some of you in the room to try and get the aspect of thinking, like of watching a listener, like stepping back. It's a relatively advanced technique, but it's really good to try it. And if it was hard for you, then it's very helpful to stick with what we started with, which was just simply being with your belly and then being with your breath. Because we're attempting to reach a place where we're using our own mind to actually see our mind, which is relatively a tricky thing to do. It takes a bit of time. It takes some hours on the cushion. And why? Like, why would we bother, right? Sitting there and, like, who cares about the sound? Why would we? Anybody want to have a crack at why would we do that? To just try and hear the sounds and try not to put a story on them?
Because then we can be more at peace. We can see how our minds are working, and when they're focused on physical things around us, and then when they're focused on energy and space and I don't know, I would think I'd be able to feel more love and happiness be in that place.
Yeah, that's a nice answer. It's like we start off at a sort of an elementary state of just trying to be neutral with just sound, and then that is our starting ground to then be able to not be so focused in a very grasping kind of way to our thoughts, and which is what you're saying, because all we're doing all day is having these thoughts about the things that are happening in our life, and that is the chain, right? That is what has us chained up. It's our own perception of the world that we're seeing, and that is either a great freedom for you, or it is a big pain in the butt, depending on probably what the day is like, what your mind is like that day, or what state you've reached, what state your consciousness has reached. There are people walking around in Vancouver, I promise you, that have reached states where they don't have bad days. Even if it rains all day, even if it rains for 3 weeks, they don't have a bad 3 weeks. Even if they twist their ankle and fall and break their leg or something, that's not a bad day for these kinds of people. They've elevated their consciousness. That takes a bit of time to reach a place like that. And in order to reach a place like that, you have to, like you said, first start being able to disassociate your story from what's happening in your life. And we start by the sounds. It's a beautiful, I don't know if you noticed, but it can be quite beautiful to be sitting and listening to the sounds and notice what your mind is doing. Notice how your mind is painting a picture of the sound you hear, assuming things. Like I live in the West End, and I hear all kinds of crazy things in our alley. Like rattling shopping carts. I guess they're shopping carts. I'm not seeing them, but my mind is I have a whole story there. Sometimes they're yelling and screaming, all kinds of interesting things. And in my mind, immediately there's a whole scene there, and I'm not looking at them, right? And so it's a great way to notice that that's what you're doing all the time. Whether you're looking at something or whether you're hearing something, there's a process going on in your mind that is born of constant assumptions. And what we're trying to do is see those assumptions as they come. So then we can go, oh, whoa, I just made a total assumption about this person. And then that's the road to freedom. Because if you don't start doing that, you never stop. Your life is just what you think it is. That your life will just be. You'll never be free of your assumptions, because you will assume they're true. That's it. You will assume your assumptions are true. And that is trouble. Not only is it trouble, but for most of us, it's a dead-end street. If we can open it up and get clear, and then allow the beauty of the presence of the love in our mind look at things, then you're actually looking at a different world. Then you have a lot of forgiveness. Then people, when they approach you, they're safe. They're safe from you. It's interesting how that works. And that's why we start with the sounds. We start with the sounds. So in the beginning, you're working on this balancing act of trying not to be too so disengaged that you're getting sleepy and you're wandering off, and then it's like, oh wow, I was meditating like 20 minutes ago. Or so engaged in it that you just like your body gets tense and you're right on the object and you can't let go of the story. So that's what it is. It's a constant working the balance and recognizing the signs. Tension in your body is a good sign that you're trying too hard. Sleepiness is a good sign that you're not trying hard enough. So I just need to talk a little bit about, because this is based on His Holiness, the First Panchen Lama, Lobsang Chukyi Gyaltsam. And he gives one of the greatest dissertations on Mahamudra, which is going to be a new word for maybe a lot of you. And we'll, in later classes, take apart that word and all its meanings. But it means the Great Seal. And the Great Seal has many meanings. But one of them is reality, or ultimate reality, the way that reality is. And it doesn't need you. Reality doesn't need your opinions of it. It just is, right? And so we're trying to accustomize ourselves to being able to live with and embrace what appears to us, so that we can then stop the cycle of blame and then change it. Because the basic idea that we're trying to kill, you could say, is the basic idea that the world is actually coming at us and not from us. It looks like the world is coming at us, but the world is not happening to you. You are happening to the world. That's what's going on. You are happening to the world. And if you meditate enough, you'll see that directly. You will understand it directly. But you can just sit down for a few minutes and logically come to the understanding that whatever situation is happening in your life, you're the one that's deciding what it is. You're the one that's that's putting the label on it, that whether it's good or whether it's bad, whether it should be that way or shouldn't be that way, whether you wish it was different and whether you wish it wasn't different. And that's a very small sort of end of a big story about how reality is working, how we're making our reality all the time. And if that's true, if we can admit to ourselves that when someone walks in the room and we see a beautiful person with a wonderful smile and we feel good, if we can come to terms with the fact that they are not a beautiful person with a beautiful smile. That's what you think they are. So if you see a beautiful person with a beautiful smile, you're doing well. Like you're lucky. Because somebody else in the room is going to see something completely different. They may see someone who is wearing a certain kind of clothing, and then they may think, can't trust that person, right? Can't trust that person. Don't leave your wallet with that person alone, right? I mean, we have all these stories, right? I remember when I was working, this is years ago, and I was working for a roofing company, and there was the guy that ran the company, and then there was the owner who was the guy with the money. And the guy with the money, he didn't really know me very well. And the guy that I worked for that was running all the jobs, he had left his wallet on the desk. And it was full of 50s and 100s, you know, those really good-looking wallets. You just look at it and you think, oh, you're thinking thousands, right? It's just laying, it's so full of bills you couldn't fold it. It's just laying right on his desk, right? Just laying there, and he was off, and I was in the room. And then later, I heard that the money guy who was in charge of the money, he came in and he freaked out on the foreman. Said, "What are you doing? You just leave that wallet there with John in the room? What are you, right?" Now, the guy, his name was Dave. He was like, "What are you, crazy? John wouldn't take a nickel. Why? Of course I would leave that there." See? So that's a good example, right? That's another good example. I was working I've had many jobs. This time I was working at a foam factory. So you know how those foams, the foam that you have for your bed, you know that they come in big bread buns first? They come off of a truck in massive, like, they look like loaves of gigantic bread. And then, there's a bunch of guys like me, who get them off the truck and put them on these machines and cut them up and slice them to whatever size, and then they go out, right? And, it was like what you might think it would be, a bunch of guys going nowhere, working in a warehouse, driving forklifts and, waiting for their break, working for the weekend, and there was one time that there was this one guy there who always he would smoke pot at work all the time, and you always smell it on him all the time, and he always had this kind of look, and I was kind of like half wondering how and half jealous, and it's like, and he went into the washroom, and he obviously smoked up in the washroom, right? And he came out, and there's like open, and smoke comes out, and then so I went in after him. I was like, gee, what the, go in there and, do what I had to do. And then I come out. And then right after I come out, the boss goes in. Right? And I'm thinking, yeah. I know exactly what he's thinking about me, right? So then he gets in a big huff and he talks to the other workers. Does John smoke pot? Is John smoking up at work? And he wouldn't believe anybody because he saw with his own eyes, I came out and then he went in and it was full of pot smoke, right? And to the very day that I left there, I was a pothead for him, and it was wrong, and I knew it, and so a part of the blessing of these kinds of meditations and these kinds of teachings is not only understanding that you're labeling, but also that everyone else is too, right? So don't get mad at people because they have the unfortunate thing in their mind to label you in a way that they can't help it, right? Understand. Understand. If you gain an understanding in your own mind that you are labeling a reality, then it must then lead you to understand that everyone else is too. So when you walk into a room, you don't have any control over how people see you. So, don't worry about it. Stop spending $200 on a pair of jeans. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Go to the Salvation Army. They're $5 there. Put that $195 into something else. As a musician, for myself, it's great because if you reach that place, then you can play a song and you're not worried because it doesn't matter. You could be clunking away and thinking, oh my God, I really played that wrong. And people are, man, that was awesome, dude. And or you could be like, yeah, I played that so good. And people are saying, yeah, you got to learn a little bit. Maybe you don't quit your day job, dude. Right? And if you're free of that kind of thinking, then it's okay. You're just playing your music. You walk into a room and you have a choice. You walk into a room, you're going to accept the people that are in there, and you're going to love the people that are in there, or you're not. And that is your world. That is the whole basis upon which your world turns. Either you're loving people or you're not loving people. And if you're not loving people, you have a problem. And you need to fix it. And no one's going to fix it for you. There's no pill that you can take that's all of a sudden you love everybody. You got to figure out what's happening in your mind. And the way that you figure out what's happening in your mind is you meditate. But if you want to have a really juiced up meditation, you do it with a certain kind of motivation, right? Because I'm sure you've noticed by now that whatever reason you have behind what you're doing directly influences the power of what you're doing, right? Like I don't know, you see it all the time. Like if you're even at work, say, there's people that show up at work, and maybe you're one of these people, maybe you're one of the two, I'm going to say. There's the people that come, and they're interested in accomplishing whatever needs to get accomplished at work. They don't go in there thinking, as soon as they walk in there, they're thinking, what time are we quitting today? Right? When's break? They're thinking, okay, what needs to get done here? And how can I help? And they look around and they see someone struggling. They're like right on there. Well, how can I help you? How can I help you? They're not thinking about the money. They're not thinking about how much they're getting by the hour. And those people, they look a certain way. And there's the other people that show up, and they're kind of like slouched over, and they're always looking at their watch, and it's like, when's the break time yet? And then it's like, it's like half an hour before it's time to go or something, and they're like looking at the clock, and they're like, and then you can see it, right? It's the same thing. They're doing the same thing, but one of them is much happier than the other. I was on this one job once, and I do a lot of concrete finishing, and we travel around, and we happened to be in Langley that day, which is unusual, and it was a pretty big job. It was a pretty big floor we were doing, and there was this guy that was working on the crew that was responsible for building the building, and I didn't never see him do anything. I don't know what he was doing. But he was walking around. He had a tool belt on, so he obviously worked there. But all he was doing was walking around and seeing everybody was doing. So how you doing, man? And I never met him. I'm like, how's it going, man? How's it going? Good, awesome. He'd go around, hey, dude. And everybody knew him. Everybody was like, hey, nice to see you. And he was walking around. And then he was going into his lunch, and he was like taking from his lunch and giving it away to everybody. Like, hey, you hungry, man? You want a chocolate bar? And he was like doing this. And then I'm watching him going, what's he doing? What's he even doing? Right? But nobody cares. They're just happy he's there. And then at lunchtime, he says to everybody, who wants McChickens? Right? And vegetarian and this, that, and then some people are McChickens, right? I'm like, yeah, I'll have the McChicken. This, you don't say no to a guy like that, right? You just take the McChicken. When someone like that wants to buy a McChicken, you take the McChicken. So he goes away, he disappears. He comes back with this big bag, and he starts tossing McChickens around everybody. And I'm like, who is this guy? And a friend I was with was saying to me, man, the guy better be careful. He's going to spend all his money, and his wife won't be happy. And I was thinking, no. I think his wife's very happy when he gets home, right? So, he was just there. And that's a happy person. So, his focus was always on other people. It was always on other people. And if you just check in with your mind, Do a little, like at the end of the day even, you can say, do a little check and think back about your day. And I guarantee you, if you had like a crappy day, you thought about yourself a lot that day. Yeah, I will guarantee you that. You will sit there and you go, yeah, I was worried about me. I didn't get this, I didn't get that, I didn't get this, I didn't get that, I didn't get this, and this, and this, and that was a shitty day. Right? But if you had this great, amazing day, you'll notice that you thought about others a lot. You were giving to other people, you were thinking about other people. So that brings me to my next point. So what if you sit down and you're going to meditate? And the reason you're going to meditate is that you want to become a being who has such a clear mind, who learns to sit so still that everything that could cause any kind of ripple of annoyance, any ripple of judgment on someone has actually disappeared from your mind. So much so that in fact you have lost your ability to actually be irritated or angry or blame one single person ever. You see, if you're getting irritated at people because they're irritating, that is somewhere in your mind. That's been like dancing around in the back, waiting for the right person, wearing just the right clothes, with just the right haircut, wearing just the right boots. Right? And then it's like, bang, I don't like that person. That person, if I'd be happier if they weren't in the room, damn it. That is not that person's fault. That's the sneaky guy that's been dancing around in the back, waiting for its chance to lurk out, to leap out, and paint your whole world. So, if you sit down, each time you sit down and you think, I'm sitting down because I want everyone in the world to not only be safe from harm of my own ill thoughts, safe from harm of my misconceptions about the world, but I also want to reach such a state that I can actually help. That I can actually help people understand reality so that everyone can stop spinning around the cycle. In Tibetan Buddhism, they call that bodhicitta, Buddha mind, which really means the wish to become a Buddha. What it means is the wish to become a totally enlightened being for the sake of every other living being. In other words, can I be the helper? And you can do that. You're not restricted to what you think you are right now. You're not restricted to that. That's just an idea. That's just a play of light and colors and ideas that are just dancing across your mind. This is what I am. And this is why we're sitting here doing this, because we want to be able to sit back far enough, so far back, in fact, that we can actually see, not actually see the me that's projecting me. Then you've got some firepower there. You're cooking with gasoline then. Because then you understand, well, whoa, not only am I painting the world, I'm painting myself. And it's a darn good thing that we are painting ourselves. Because we got new paints. We don't have to keep using the same paint. We just create, we can over time literally be forced into the perception of like seeing yourself as an angelic being. It's not like there are angels and there are not angels. There's not like there are angels and then there's humans. It's like everybody's becoming. Everybody's becoming. And wherever you are in that mix of becoming, you're becoming. If you're not there yet, you're becoming. If you are, you are. It's not a fairy tale. And the way to believe that is to meditate and see that, whoa, I'm actually projecting this. Which doesn't mean it's not real. It is very real. Your world is real. It's illusory in the sense that it appears like it's coming at us. That's the illusion. If you understand that you're actually putting your projections onto the world, you're no longer living in illusion. It's illusory, but you're not fooled by the illusion. And that's where you want to be, and that's why we meditate. So, a great practice is to sit down and think. What I'll do is that there's a thing that the Buddhists do. It's called the preliminaries. And you set up a beautiful mind. You set up a beautiful space of mind before you enter into meditation. And then you embark on your meditation. And then, the good thing about doing that, we'll do one in a second here. The good thing about doing that is, if you just make it through the preliminaries and before you officially start your meditation, you're safe. You've already done amazing things, right? You've already done thinking about the good qualities of your dad times 100, right? You've thought about some really beautiful things times 100 for 10 minutes, which is infinitely more powerful than wondering where the next Snicker bar is going to come from, which is how I spend a lot of my time. Just kidding. Yeah. So can you stoke up the fire of your meditation by doing it for somebody else? Right? I will bet the happiest you've ever been has been when you were totally lost in love with somebody else. I mean, I don't know. I get super stoked if someone is on the side of the road with her and they want to jump, and I get to pull over and hook up my jumper cables. I'm like, yes, that's a good time. Getting people out of jams or whatever it is. I became obsessed with it, in a way. Like if I was driving and I saw somebody needed some help and I didn't have the tool, I would just go buy one, and I put it in my van. I'd be like, next time, right? I always carry aspirin, but I never get headaches. I always have aspirin, and I never get headaches. And I went and I bought a tire jack for my van, But I bought the one with all the attachments, not just the one for my wheel. Like, start thinking like that. Start, like, as you go through your day, just try and think, like, what can I do for someone else today? And hopefully you'll become an addict. You'll get hooked into your psyche, so that's all you want to be doing. But anyway, let's do this meditation, and I'll run through a sort of generic preliminaries, and then we'll go into the meditation. Yeah, so maybe we should stand up for a second, shake it out. I'll get some air in here again before we start. Cool it down. Good to shake out your legs, or you could do the boogie. Do the twist.
What instrument do you play, John?
What's that?
What instrument do you play?
Oh, guitar and drums. And bass.
And bass. Oh, are you? Okay. Set up with this. He's a trumpet. We just had all of his speakers, and he rode down on his bike, and he was just playing music. It was great.
So let's start moving our way towards sitting.
I gotta lie down and sit. I always have to alternate.
These are really, really strong.
Yes.
This is cutting the blood.
Do you have enough room more?
Yeah.
So I'll spend a little bit less time on the posturing this time, so we'll move a little quicker into the main event. So being with your body for a few moments, just touching base. It's a lot of words flew around. Just try and just let all that go and be right in this moment. Use your body to help you. Just be with the rise and fall of your belly as you breathe. As you're doing that, getting a sense of you're sitting very straight or lying very straight. There's reasons for the straight spine, which we'll get into in later classes. Shoulders are relaxed. You have the inner smile. So I'd like you to imagine yourself sitting at your home. And that you have created a space for yourself in your home. Maybe you already have. And if you have, just enjoy it and enjoy the sacredness of whatever you've made for yourself. And I'll just go over what's, in kind of as a meditation, I'll just go over what's a very nice thing to do, a great way to start. So see yourself walking in to your room where you're going to meditate, your corner of the house, or whatever it happens to be for you. And you just take a little look around and notice whether things look a little cluttered or not. And you have a broom in your hand. And you're just sweeping the room very mindfully, and as you're sweeping, you're thinking to yourself that you're preparing a beautiful place for holy beings to come and be in. You're cleaning the room, sweeping up, and you can just imagine you're sweeping up your own mind too, cleaning up your own mind by cleaning the room. And you put the broom away, the floor is nice and clean. Maybe you have some kind of altar, maybe you have a few sacred objects that you've put there. Just make sure that they look nice, as if someone walked in that you respected, that they would enjoy being there. Then you sit down. Or you're going to lie down. Whatever you're going to do that day. Maybe you've lit some candles. Maybe you've put some incense. And because in order for us to reach higher and higher platforms, higher and higher levels of consciousness, we need someone to pull us up. We can't just decide that we're going to get it out of a book, and we can't just decide we can do it ourselves. We need some kind of teacher who has gone before. And so just calling now to mind your holy teacher that you may have already in your life. If you don't have someone who you see as your quote-unquote official teacher, then think of somebody who you greatly admire. It could be from this life, someone who has taught you a lot in this life, or that has qualities that you wish that you could emulate. Could be a historic figure like Mother Teresa or Jesus or Muhammad or anyone, Gandhi, anyone that inspires in you some sort of reverence. They have something to show me. This is very, very healthy for your mind to do this. Put them floating in the air in front of you. Try and imagine that they see you there. Not only do they see you there, but they've always been there waiting for you to see them, waiting for you to notice. Try and make them in living color, not just a paper cutout. If that's hard for you, you can imagine an outline of them and then fill in the colors. And then in your mind, you see them there. You feel this love they have towards you. You can feel their wisdom that they have cultivated in their own mind. Just, they're aglow with this aura of wisdom and love. So then you make some kind of mental prostration to them. Put your head at their feet. You want their blessing. You want their wisdom. You want them to fill your mind with what they know. And then you make them an offering. Say, here, I'm about to meditate. Help me. And you make them an offering. It could be a bouquet of flowers. It could be a sky full of flowers. It could be your favorite meal. It could be an imaginary pile of rubies. It could be anything. It could be a song. And because you're going to want to be doing this a lot, if you can, you should have fun with it and be imaginative. So you make them this offering. They accept it with happiness. Not because they need these things, but because they're happy that you have offered, because they know how that works in your mind. They don't need anything from you. They just want your happiness. Then you make some kind of confession. This is like clearing out bad deeds, clearing out obstacles in your mind. And you just think of something in the last 24 hours that you wish you had done differently. You just tell them. Get it off your mind. It's hard to meditate on a mind that is regretting something. So just get it off of your mind. Tell them. They smile. Thank you. They love it when you tell them stuff like that. They understand. There's no judgment from them, only love. Now tell them something that you're very happy that you did. You're rejoicing in something that you did and telling them, hey, I came to meditation class. Or, hey, I'm meditating right now. Isn't that awesome? They're like, yeah, it's awesome. And then you tell them about something that someone else did that you're excited about. Rejoicing in the goodness of others. And then you ask them, please teach me. Please appear to me in my life and help me understand the nature of reality in ways that I can understand. If you're going to be a song on the radio, please let me know it's you telling me how to love people. If you're going to be a billboard as I drive by, telling me to stop judging and love people, please help me know it's you. Please teach me in ways that I can understand. Then you ask them to stay. Please stay. Please help me keep seeing you. Please help me plant the things that I need to plant in my mind so that I can continue to see people like you that can pull me higher. And of course they agree, and what you do now is you see them shrink down in size to about the size of your thumb, and they float up in the air, and they come towards you, and they spin around and to face the same way you are, and they alight upon your crown. And then they dissolve into light. And then they reappear inside your very own heart. And you can feel them in there. And now we move on to a motivational meditation on how to get our motivation happenings. A nice, beautiful motivation. So think about a time in your life in your recent past, when you weren't really any kind of practitioner, when you had no wish to live any kind of spiritual life, and you were always reaching out into the outside world to try and fix your problems. You're always like reaching out to the world to make you happy, not understanding. And then think about, well, if I truly am projecting my world, and that these projections are being dictated by how I've treated others before, then that is something that I can truly count on. That will always be there for me. I can treat others with kindness and know that that will bring a beautiful result where I can become someone who helps people. And then you think, well, the only way that I'm going to really and truly understand that in a way that I'm not constantly fooled by appearances all day long is if I get into a deep state of meditation in order to see directly the true nature of my mind. Then you decide, okay, that's why I'm sitting here today. I need to do this. And then think of someone you're going to do it for. Think of someone in your life, one person, and put them in front of you and think to yourself, you make this promise. I swear I will see ultimate reality for you. I will see the ultimate nature of my mind for you. I swear I will get enlightened as quickly as I can for you. I will do it for you. And just keep seeing them there. Just thinking, I'm doing this for you. I will do this for you. And then see yourself sitting and having a deep desire, deep in your mind, a deep desire for everyone around you to be happy all the time, irregardless of what's happening. And then at the center of your heart, where your holy being, where you placed your holy being, Visualize light shining out of that place. And it radiates out and touches first this person in front of you that you're doing your practice for. And they light up in joy from the inside out. And then 5 arcs of light come out of their heart and go to 5 people around them. And now you have 6 people that are lit up in joy, happiness. So happy, no worries. And then each one of those 5, they have 5 out of each one of their hearts that go out to 5 more people, and then so on and so on and so on until your whole world is covered in a web of light. And from your heart it just keeps streaming this desire, this wish that they all be happy, they all be free of pain, of mental anguish, of confusion. And then what you see is you see them all become very happy, but not only that, they care for each other intensely. And so witness their eyes all turn to each other and notice what happens to the world, to your reality, if all of a sudden everyone is concerned about everyone. And let that light come back into your heart. Sit and rest. And just enjoy the silence. Enjoy the calming effect of having thought of so many others so intensely. Just enjoy that peace. The wake of that peace. Enjoy it. Gently coming back. Whenever you do a meditation, you want to try to, as you're coming back, to try and stay with that center, any centeredness that you've cultivated, so that you can even gently open your eyes and look down and stay in the center. And then slowly take in more of your surrounding, but stay in the center so that you can meet your world from the center. And one day you'll just get up and you'll just be like that all the time. Whew, it is hot in here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's class. And I know that, can we do the email thing because there's some new people?
Right.
How do we do that?
So if there's anybody new that would like a written and audio version of the meditations, you can write your...
And also what you'll get from Mishi is, did you get that chart? Did you find it helpful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I did, and it's a great chart.
Okay, so what's really awesome is to journal your meditations. So and you'll find there's a nice little thing that Mishi will send to you, and it's got the time you meditated and what you ate that day. You'll find that influences your mind, your state of your meditations.
It was a form though. Where does it go when you hit submit?
No, don't do that. Just copy it and make your own. You can probably go to me.
So is there a way that I can get them? Is there a way that I can? What? How? Because if you would like to journal your meditations and hand them in to me, I can. And if you'd like some help or some feedback on your meditations, you can do that if you like, and I'll look over them. Or maybe you just want to keep them private or whatever. But it's nice to write down some realization that you may have had or anything, aha moment or things like that. It's good. Keep track of your progress because it's good to see where you're at. That it? Yeah. Any questions before we?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Oh, Marissa's workshop is this weekend.
Oh yeah. Mariska, who's very shy, who hates this. Whenever I do this to her, she's teaching a workshop this weekend called Enlightened Motherhood. Yeah. So if you're a mom or if you're a dad or hoping to be a mom or anything like that, I mean, it would be beneficial for anybody to come.
From 10 to 12:30 Sunday.
Sorry, what was that?
Tell everybody what it is.
A workshop on Sunday, Enlightened Motherhood. Yeah, for moms or moms-to-be or dads or caregivers or anybody with kids in their lives.
Yeah, basically how to use that as
as your practice,
Yeah.
as your path. And then we'll also do yoga.
Can I make a quick announcement too?
Yeah.
Okay, and then on Friday, June 14th, which is not next Friday, but a week from then, Leonardo, who's one of the people at our Dharma Center, is having a fundraiser that's going to be a by donation. Well, the whole thing is by donation, but it's a yoga class. And then there'll be sort of a fun, family-friendly dance, and some of my friends are coming to do an acro yoga demonstration. And also maybe get some people trying acro yoga if you're interested. But all the money is going towards Leonardo's new classroom for deaf children who are going to be in 1st and 2nd grade. So you can bring any money, or there's a wish list on the flyer, which I think we have somewhere out here. So you can bring an item from the wish list. It's like things like books or toys that light up, things that would be fun for deaf persons and readers. So that's a cool event. And if you can't make it, I think we also have an envelope here where you could leave a donation if you like.
Are you going to do any acro yoga at that event? You going to demonstrate any?
No, I'm not going to be
You're not gonna
demoing. My friends are going to be demoing. Yeah, but yes, I'll come to
I'm trying to talk Joyce into actually teaching some acro yoga to one.
Acro, yeah, for acrobatics. But it's like.
Can you teach acro yoga?
Thank you all for coming. Thank you. Very nicely done.